Today we're talking gardening. I'm going to go over some of the things that we've learned, some of the things I've researched, and I'll first tell you a disclaimer, this is nothing I've ever done before. This is not anything that my grandparents or my mother taught me or what I learned growing up on the farm. This is totally different gardening, but I'm going to go over some of the stuff that we're doing, why I'm doing it different, the tools, the measurements, and some of the plants we're having, and kind of what our hope for our garden is this year. All right, the first thing is spacing. So we're here in Ohio. It's a row crop area, which means we have one row of crop with a 12 or 16 inch spacing that they drive tractors through. It's the way we farm our large fields, soybeans and corn, large equipment, commercial farming. That's just kind of the way it's going out here. It transfers over though to the people's gardens around this area. So they'll run one row of plants with a 12 or 15 inch walkway, and all this space is lost. Now, I'm watching Curtis Stone. He has a book out called The Urban Farmer. And I'm also reading a book called The Market Gardener by Jean-Martin Fourtier. Both these guys are in Canada, but there's lots of other people here in the US. But these guys have great books. All the stuff is laid out for you. They don't mind telling you their business plan. But they started me thinking about this 30-inch row concept. So Johnny Seed, popular area, they have all these tools. They're all made in either 15 or 30 inches to fit these 30-inch rows. Also, fabric is 36 or 40 inches, the typical fabric you buy. That leaves your 30-inch row, and then the fabric lays down into your aisleway. So I really started thinking a lot about why are they doing this 30-inch row. I'm going to turn the camera around and go over it. All right, here. So we know that rows are important for compaction. We're going to have our plants in our rows. We don't want to walk on it. We want the ground to stay airy. We want more air, more nutrient uptake, easier water uptake with deflated ground. So we want the ground to be loose. We want it to be broke up, not compacted. So we know that from basic gardening that it's not good to walk where your plants are. Same thing with the elevated beds or whatever guys are doing. But we have a 30-inch row, a 15-inch walkway, and another 30-inch row. So this one I did tonight, it's raised up. I've got the fabric over it. You'll notice what I did was I took the dirt from my 15-inch aisleway on both sides and I put it up in the center. This makes my bed about 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches higher than the walkways themselves. So I'll fill these walkways with wood chips. I'll walk on them, they'll compost. At the end of the year, I'll rake the wood chips up on top of the beds, use these same beds again. But the water will lay in these aisleways when it rains super hard, and it will slowly soak in. It won't lay across my field, okay? The other thing is that the weeds underneath the fabric won't come up. So if they do sprout, as soon as they get their first leaf, they'll be searching for sunlight. They won't get it, they'll then die off. So fabric, something new we're using, and 30-inch rows. All right, so tools. I'm obviously using a tiller. I'm using the one that my mother has, that we've had for 20 years, until I can buy a BCS machine. Just trying to use the equipment that I have. But I'm starting to use a lot more hand tools, but completely different than I've ever used in a garden. So I'm gonna flip around and show you some of my tools. All right, first is a broad fork. So go to YouTube, look up broad forking videos. When I get time, maybe I'll make one. It goes down on the ground, it breaks up compaction without turning over the soil. That's very important because if we turn over the soil, we're turning over the weed seeds as well, allowing them to germinate and cause our seed or our fields, our gardens, to be weedy. So this is a broad fork. I have a 10-inch shovel, which I'm just using to make straight pathways. Not a big deal here. I have a 30-inch garden rake. It has a sharp side and a rounded side. And then I have our typical 15-inch garden rake. These are some of the main tools I'm using. You'll notice no garden hoe. It's my nemesis. I hate the thing. They should outlaw it. This is the reason for the fabric. We're not using a garden hoe. If I have to weed any, it'll be hand plucking, but it should be very minimal. But these are the main tools that I have. Some tools I wish I did have. A tilther. So a tilther is a little 15-inch teeny tiller. It only goes down 3/4 to an inch. It's ran by a drill. It's like $500 on Johnny's Seed. If I can ever find one at an auction or whatever, I'll pick one up. But right now it's these garden hand tools that I have. I picked each one of these garden hand tools up for $2 a piece in an auction. So I've went into the local hardware stores, and they're like 15 to 20 bucks. You've seen them. I found them for $2 each. So that's what I'm using. Eventually I'll buy a tilther. I will use our large rototiller, rear tine rototiller that we have, but that's the equipment that I'm using on the garden this year. I hope these videos help. I kind of want to go over some of the stuff that we're planning to do and kind of show you, and I want to keep you updated. This is just a start. We're just starting this year, so there's lots of projects. I really don't have time to do a huge production garden, but I definitely want to grow some of the stuff for my own family. I'm hoping to do a summer CSA, maybe 10 weeks long, just kind of as a trial, 5 to 10 customers, nothing huge this year. This year is mainly about time studies, about efficiencies, and seeing what I can grow, how fast I can grow it, how close I can get it, all those things, all the 5S management of keeping tools around and cleaning and production. So a lot of measurements to make sure that I'm going to be efficient when it comes time for money. Okay, so, and running the CSA, make sure this is going to be feasible enough that I can feed families and not come out of my pocket, but at least break even and grow some income with it eventually. So we're doing a lot of different stuff. I'll keep you updated. One thing I know I'm going to do this year is some recipes. People were asking about my salsa, the different style of pickles I do. I've done these recipes for years. I've just never made videos on them. So as I pick vegetables, I'll show you the vegetables I'm using from my garden. We'll make the recipes. I'll post them. You guys can do them yourself. One new recipe I'm going to do this year is homemade sriracha. So I'll be planting some special red jalapeno plants, which is the main basis for sriracha. I'll show you how I'm going to make it, show you how we're going to store it, how I'm going to can it, and that way I don't have to buy any chemically produced, factory produced sriracha. That's one of the new items we're going to put on our shelves. So the normal green beans and corn and potatoes and onions, those are all coming. We make our own spaghetti sauce, but sriracha is the newest thing I'm going to try this year, and I'll try to get all those videos uploaded for you and show you. I hope this helps. Please subscribe to our YouTube. Please follow us on Instagram. Come out and support us. Come watch, look at our farm. Come out and visit us with us. We're always looking for visitors and want to show you what we're doing. And look forward to the CSA. If there's 5 to 10 couples that are interested, families that are interested in getting involved in this and getting some homegrown vegetables, you don't have to grow them. You just come once a week and pick them up. So more information about that to follow. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.